Hello again. You're listening to Pocono Mountains podcast. I'm Jim Hamill. It's officially hot. The 4th of July holiday is this weekend and the summer season is in full swing. Fresh off a great NASCAR doubleheader at Pocono Raceway, fans of the Poconos are planning their adventures and mixing in some great stops all along the way. We're going to introduce you to some of the fantastic national and state parks in the Poconos on this episode. They have seen some record crowds over the past year, and this year we want to remind everyone to plan ahead and, of course, be sure to leave no trace. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, with mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers across 4 counties with historic downtowns and iconic family resorts. It's the perfect getaway for a weekend or an entire week. You can always find out more on PoconoMountains.com or watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7 at PoconoTelevision.com. We also have a Roku app and Fire TV app and plenty more on the way. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains podcast. We'll have a new episode each week highlighting lots of the fun things you can experience while you're visiting the Poconos. Subscribe and leave a review and or comment on whichever platform you listen. Now for Chris and Ashley at Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area. Then Chris learns a lot about what makes Promised Land State Park so special. And I even share an important reminder to put safety first when you head out on the river this season. Thanks for listening. Enjoy a glimpse at just some of the public parks throughout the Pocono Mountains.
Hi folks, and we're back. This is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. We're right here today in the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area.
Yes, very good. Very
good.
good.
To say.
It is. It took I had to learn the whole alphabet before I could really say that, but it was great.
You did good, actually. That was a compliment.
It was. Oh, good. That's good.
And we got it on
like
air,
that.
so.
We like that. Okay, so now I have a record of it. That's even better. But first thing I would like to do is I'd like to give a shout out real quick to Sean Strube, the mayor of Milford, who also owns the Hotel Fouchier, the Delmonico room there. Fantastic food. You got to try it when you get into Milford, PA. We'll talk about that some other time. But right now we are here to talk about the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area. Yeah.
Yes,
And
you did it again.
And Kathleen knows everything there is to know about it. She's awesome. So Kathleen, I'm just going to turn that mic over to you.
All right.
And talk to us about this beautiful place that we're in right now, this 70,000 acres.
Yeah, so Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area is a 70,000 acre unit of the National Park System. So we are a protected area, one of America's most special places, and that's why it's protected and preserved. The park is about 40 miles long, so it runs from down south near the Stroudsburg, Delaware Water Gap area, all the way up into Milford, and then across the river into Warren and Sussex County, New Jersey. So it's quite a big place. And in that big place, there is something for just about everybody who wants to come to visit the park. And it doesn't matter what your age is, what your ability level is, or what your interests are. There really is something for everyone.
So I can take the training wheels off my bike, right? That's good.
Well, I can't say. I haven't seen you ride
just
yet.
fine, Chris. Don't worry.
Wow, she's already got it going on. Well, Kathleen, if there's a family here and the family wants to know something about the best thing to do here, what would you tell them?
Oh gosh,
Or what to do here?
I would say one of the best things to do is kind of visit our website, and through that you can find all of the different things that there are to do. But a great place to come is Smithfield Beach, right here where we are today. And if you come to Smithfield, there is the McDade Recreation Trail that goes right through this site, and it's 32 miles long. You don't have to do the whole thing, no pressure. You can go a couple miles.
I saw you getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
The smoke was coming out.
You can ride a bike on that trail. There's also a canoe access here and a boat launch access. So, and we also have a swim beach here. So
And
this
you
is a
can
great
grill,
one-stop.
right?
You can grill,
You
yeah.
can grill here. You have to bring your own grill.
Yep.
But you're allowed to do that, which makes the day, like you can plan the entire day if you know that you can eat and grill and relax.
Absolutely,
With family
yeah.
and friends too.
Yeah, we should probably, I smell some things grilling. We should probably check that out
We should
and
go
make
make
sure
friends.
the grills are safe.
Yeah, Brian didn't burn it. I think we'll be good. Let's get Kathleen, tell us a little bit about the wildlife here. The wildlife to me is really intriguing. We were talking to some folks up in Shawnee and they told us a little bit about it. fascinating. Can you give us a little bit about the wildlife?
Yeah, well, here at Delaware Water Gap, we have so many different types of habitat. So there's the valleys, there's the river, there's the upland forests, and the tops of the ridges. So if you come to the park, today here at Smithfield Beach, there are birds everywhere. So it's a real popular spot to come bird watching. You might get to see a bear if you're lucky, or a bobcat. You're more likely to see some squirrels and raccoons and deer. But if you keep your eye out and you're in the right place at the right time, you might actually get to see some of that spectacular wildlife.
That's awesome. And the bald eagles here too, right?
Yes. We have a great population of bald eagles that live here in the area. They nest along the Delaware River, so they're not just visiting, and they're actually having eggs and having young. They're living their whole entire life cycle right here in the Delaware River Valley. And that's because the river behind us is so clean that it provides them with all of the things that they need.
And we always want to talk about our anti-litter campaign as the Bureau. Please always pick up after yourselves, especially when you come to a beautiful area like this, so we can preserve it just the way that it is. It's wonderful. So Kathleen, one more question left. And maybe this is a little bit of a loaded one, but what do you like most about this area when you visit, just off duty, which I'm sure you never are, but what do you visit most?
My favorite thing to do when I'm off duty is to get out on the river. I love to kayak. I love to get out there and get down close to the water and really get that experience. And there are some great ways that you can do that. The river here is mostly calm, not a lot of rapids, so you don't have to worry about it. There are also businesses in the area that will provide you with a rental if you want to try it out, but don't want to make the investment, or if you don't have your own gear.
For those who don't have it but want to try.
Yep, or maybe you don't have a car to be able to carry your kayaks and things. And we also have a free shuttle bus system operated by the Pocono Pony, and that runs every weekend up and down the Pennsylvania side of the river. But the best thing about that is that it also has a trailer, so you can put your bike or your canoe or your kayak and all of your gear, and it will transport you back and forth up and down the river so that you can get around. So if I were off right now, I'd choose to be on the river.
We were very, very lucky to have Kathleen for a few minutes today to tell you a little bit more, some of the backstory stuff about this wonderful area. This is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Thanks for watching. Hi folks, you're in the summer and fall edition of PTN, that's the Pocono Television Network. We are really happy to be here at Promised Land State Park. It's an incredible facility. We're going to talk to Brian in a second. We just want to talk about two things that we've been doing. We're at Claws and Paws recently. Amazing place. We fed a giraffe right here in the Pocono Mountains. Believe it or not, it was wonderful. Also, one of the wonderful things about the Pocono Mountains is the outdoor beauty, the waterways, the woodlands, all those kind of things that folks come here visiting from every state in the Union. Brian's going to tell us about where we are now. We're at Promised Land State Park in the Pocono Mountains. There are 7 state parks. So Brian, tell us about this one. Thank you for hosting us. It's been great.
No problem. Promised Land State Park was actually founded in 1905. It's the 3rd oldest state park in Pennsylvania. We're about 3,000 acres here at Promised Land, but we are surrounded by about 15,000 acres at the Delaware State Forest. So combined, we have about 15,000 acres of public land for people to explore once they get out here. But here at Promised Land, we're mostly known for our camping, which there is a fee for the camping, but we have 6 different campgrounds, including campsites that have just electric. We also have full hookup campsites, and even equestrian campsites for people that want to bring their horses and ride the many trails we have here.
So the one thing I did not know is you're open 365, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, our park is open 365 days a year from sunrise to sunset.
So if a guest came now in the fall, or let's say summer where we're at right now, what would they find when they came to the park?
They would find lots to do. The first thing a lot of people do when they get here is they come to our day use area and they go to the beach. They swim at the beach for free. We have a concession stand and also a boat rental here at the park for them to get on the lake if they'd like. They can picnic when they're not on the lake or swimming in the lake. And from there, they can do their hiking. We have about 50 miles of trail in and around Promised Land for hiking. We've got mountain biking here at the park, equestrian trails, as I alluded to earlier with the equestrian campground. And we also have, for the people that want to sightsee or we're very popular with wildlife viewing, we have a wildlife observation station here at the park, which they can view a lot of wildlife, including bald eagles here that actually live here in the park.
So one of the things that you said, one of the folks on your staff actually does environmental programs most of the year, correct?
Yes, we have an environmental education specialist, and what she will do is in the peak season here between Memorial Day and Labor Day, she'll actually put on programs, environmental and historical programs in the campgrounds for the visitors of the park free of charge. She'll also, throughout the year, she can set up programs for schools to come out and have an environmental education program here at the park, or teach teachers about some curriculum they can use in their classroom. And she also actually has summer camps throughout the summer where people can sign up and come out here for the week and spend the week, have their kids spend the week learning about the environment.
So Brian was nice enough to host us today and tell us about some of the great things at Promised Land State Park. We're right here in the Pocono Mountains. You are watching PTN, the Pocono Television Network, and we thank you for being here.
During the hottest months of the year, the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area is where thousands are headed to cool off and enjoy nature in the Pocono Mountains. The National Park Service often handles issues ranging from litter to river safety. But in 2020, with so many people visiting the park, both are proving more problematic than most years.
We want people to leave the park the way they would like it to be found when they arrive in the park. And sometimes that means picking up around your picnic table, it means putting your trash in the proper disposals, or even better, packing it all up and taking it home with you to dispose of.
This truck was filled to the brim with some of that trash left behind in the Delaware Water Gap. Park rangers remind visitors, whatever they bring in, please take back out.
We have littering issues as well as safety issues. So there are people visiting sections of the park that we've never seen them at before along the river that's hard for us to access.
And those hard-to-access areas, along with inexperienced swimmers, are combining for tragic endings this summer. And the one thing that every victim has in common, no life jacket.
It is the one thing that you can do to save your life and make sure that you can come back to play another day.
Park officials stress the importance of wearing one of these no matter where you swim in the Delaware, especially since the river is far different from any other body of water.
It almost looks like a lake. It's got a calm, smooth surface, and it looks very inviting, and it is. However, beneath the surface are things that we can't see.
Not to mention, if someone panics or is intoxicated, it makes matters worse. So when it comes to making it to safety, park rangers have a few tips for swimmers if they get into trouble.
So the best thing to do is to relax, to not panic, to put your feet downstream so that your head doesn't hit anything and you can see where you're going. And go with the current, let it float you downstream and gradually make your way across the river. You're going to have a little hike at the end when you make your way out on the shore, and you can walk back up the shoreline safely to the people who are waiting for you.
Life-saving advice from the people who want to make sure your trip to the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area is a clean one and a safe one. For more info on the park, you can head to www.nps.gov/DEWA or find Del Water Gap NPS on Facebook. Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network. Want to find out more about all the state and national parks in the Poconos? Just head to our website, PoconoMountains.com. Click on Things to Do and you can plan your getaway and adventure throughout the region. Remember to plan ahead for your trip. Have backup plans in case the park or area you want to visit isn't an option. And remember, we stress picking up the Poconos. That means don't leave litter behind. Whatever you bring into a public park with you, please take back out. Thanks again for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available and leave a review and or comment.
Our beautiful rivers can be more powerful than you can imagine. You can lose control in an instant, but you can still have fun and be safe. Always wear a life jacket. Plan a meeting spot if you get separated. Never float the river impaired, and never go alone. It's more fun that way. Our Pocono Mountains rivers are here to be enjoyed. Do it safely. Safety saves lives, especially yours.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm Jim Hamill. Now for a Pocono Mountains Podcast Extra. In 2020, they cut the ribbon on a whole new visitor center for several state parks in the Poconos at Hickory Run State Park in Carbon County. It serves Lehigh Gorge State Park as well, and is an amazing addition to the visitor experience here in the Poconos. Have a listen. The fireplace at the brand new Hickory Run State Park Visitor Center and office is warm and welcoming, and the facility, both inside and out, a new direction for this part of the Pocono Mountains and its state parks.
Everything you see here has the capacity to transform someone's understanding and visitation to something much deeper. Someone who may come in for a picnic or a walk could leave understanding watersheds or understanding conservation or a new appreciation for wildlife, new understanding of their connection to nature.
And nature is something intertwined with this facility, surrounded by rain gardens and built to be energy efficient, environmentally friendly, and for all who come through these doors, educational.
The new facility is behind us. It definitely gives us a lot more ability to reach the visiting public and welcome them in the way that really a park like this and a complex like this, because this isn't just Hickory Run, it's Hickory Run, Lehigh Gorge, and Nescopec State Parks. It gives us the ability to welcome that public and let them know what we have to offer for them.
Officials cut the ribbon on the facility in mid-October, eager to share these informative exhibits with the many visitors as something of a starting point for their experiences in the park and in nearby Lehigh Gorge State Park.
This is bigger and better.
Edward Fatorsky has been a campground host at Hickory Run State Park for more than a decade and now gets to welcome guests at this new center.
I think it's very educational for them to come and see this stuff, because a lot of people have no idea. You know, if you live in a city and you've never been in the woods, they have no idea what goes on. And this is a good learning process, I think, yes.
Hickory Run State Park has plenty to offer. 40 miles of trails, waterfalls, and the expansive Boulder Field, a natural phenomenon and a major draw for visitors year after year. And in a year that has seen record crowds at state and national parks, including this park in Carbon County, state forestry officials are thankful to have this new tool to help in their mission.
We're happy to have them come out and experience all we have to offer.
Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network. Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, Promised Land State Park, Lehigh Gorge State Park, and Hickory Run State Park. Just a handful of the amazing public parks you can experience when you're exploring the Pocono Mountains. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please remember to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Book your trip today.